Salerno might not be the first city you think of when exploring southern Italy, but that's exactly what makes it so rewarding. Nestled between towering mountains and the Amalfi Coast, Salerno is full of character, charm and local life, without the hordes of tourists. I'm Nicola, and today we're going to wander through the streets of Salerno and see why it is the perfect base for a trip to the Amalfi Coast. Salerno is a lively port city to the east of the Amalfi Coast. We chose Salerno as a base to explore the rest of the area, but did not expect it to be one of our favourite places. We stayed in a modern apartment overlooking the sea. The price of accommodation in Salerno is much more reasonable than neighbouring towns along the Amalfi Coast. Unlike the Amalfi Coast, Salerno is not overrun by tourists and is full of locals going about their daily lives, so it's a great place to consider staying if you'd like a real taste of Italy alongside the stunning sights of the Amalfi Coast itself. Let's start by the water, where Salerno opens out to the sea. The Lungomare Trieste is the city's famous palm-lined promenade, perfect for a morning stroll. There are plenty of places to eat, drink, shop and relax. If you want to explore the rest of the Amalfi Coast, the best way to travel is by ferry. In the ferry terminal, you'll often spot local fishermen hauling in their catch. Travelling along the coast by ferry was one of the highlights of the trip. It is the best way to admire the coast. I've created some travel guides about the nearby towns we visited during our time in Salerno. Some were ridiculously busy and others were calm. I'll add a link to my Amalfi Coast playlist in the video description. Back in Salerno and right across from the seafront, you'll find Villa Comunale, Salerno's public garden. With shaded walkways, fountains and plenty of benches, it's a peaceful spot where locals come to escape the heat of the day. Salerno's Old Town is a maze of winding alleys filled with little piazzas lined with cafes and restaurants. Life here is real, and you'll see locals going about their day between the old buildings and landmarks. Tucked away in the old town are the remains of Salerno's medieval aqueduct. It caught my eye because its stone arches date back to the 9th century and are known locally as the Devil's Bridges. Legend says that a local sorcerer called upon dark forces to raise the arches in a single night, giving them their ominous name. For centuries, people avoided walking under them after dark, fearing they were cursed. Today, they stand peacefully among the streets, a reminder of Salerno's mix of history and myth. Wandering further, you'll notice that Salerno is also a canvas for modern creativity. Murals and street art brighten up worn, tired facades. These were part of a project designed to regenerate the area. The verdict's out on that one. What do you think of the walls? I'd love to read your comments. We're going to visit some of Salerno's main landmarks. But first I'd like to take you off the beaten track, as we always love exploring the everyday areas of a city. We wandered through a steep residential area in search of the best views of the city and coast below. We stumbled upon a little residential lift installed to make the hilly streets more accessible for locals. For the best views, my top tip would be to take the lift to Via Salvatore de Renzi. There are no tourists here, and from this vantage point you can see Salerno's rooftops tumble down towards the sea, and you'll be rewarded with a fantastic perspective of the city and the coast. Culture is alive here too.
Just bought our tickets for the opera tonight and I'm really looking forward to it.
Teatro Municipale was built in the 19th century and still hosts productions that connect directly with Italy's operatic heritage. We were lucky enough to grab the very last couple of tickets for Norma by Bellini, a work that is considered one of the greatest masterpieces of Italian opera. Inside the opera house is breathtaking. Gilded balconies curve around the stage in horseshoe fashion. Deep red velvet seats glow under the chandeliers, and every detail seems designed to make the performance feel grand and unforgettable. Back in the heart of the old town is the Duomo di Salerno, a cathedral built in the 11th century. It It has a striking Romanesque façade and is dedicated to Saint Matthew, whose relics are said to rest here, making it one of the most important pilgrimage sites in southern Italy. Salerno has always been a melting pot of cultures, and the bell tower blends Arab-Norman influences. The courtyard, with its arcades and columns, is a beautiful space to pause and take in the layers of history. We loved exploring Salerno, and of course, all that walking always calls for something sweet. We stopped at Mr Whippy for a well-earned treat. The perfect way to reflect on our time in the city. We chose to stay in Salerno as it's an affordable alternative to the Amalfi Coast, but it ended up being the perfect choice for our trip. It's authentic, welcoming, and offers a real taste of modern life in Italy. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification for our next adventure in Naples. Until next time, happy exploring!